from Russia is TVC correspondent Promise Efoghe, and it's been an exciting one. Good morning, Promise.
Hi, Chidebere. Good morning.
Good morning. You're not looking cold this morning. I heard the weather is quite cold.
Very cold, Chidebere. Much earlier on the Wake Up show, Yomi told me I was looking fresh, and I told him, yeah, if I'm looking fresh, it's because
you're not looking fresh. I didn't say that.
Here. It's summer in Russia, but the weather, but the weather is extremely cold, especially in the mornings and at night.
Okay, let's go straight to the Super Eagles camp. We know that the NFF boss was in contact with the players a couple of hours ago, and they had some conversations. Now, what are the preparations like? We know it's a do-or-die affair with the Super Eagles on Friday against Iceland.
Certainly, Chidebere, having lost to Croatia, it is a make-or-match situation for the Super Eagles. A loss to Iceland on Friday will simply means we all pack our bags and go back to Nigeria. The players know how important that game is. They have let Nigerians down, losing to Croatia, and they know that they are condemned to pick maximum points against Iceland. I understand their match bonuses has been upped. That's to motivate them, to make them feel or know that Nigerians are concerned about their situation. Nigerians want them to win. The sport minister is very much around, and he did announce that a couple of days ago. You talked about Amaju Pinnick, the president of the Nigeria Football Federation, having a pep talk with the players yesterday. He told them what Nigerians are thinking, and he told them how important it is for them to go all out to beat Iceland and at least put Nigeria back in reckoning in Group D.
Now, still with the Super Eagles, yesterday, John Ogu was in some social media tussle with some people. This was really distressing for me as a fan, and of course, how is he handling the controversy, and are there any repercussions coming from the camp?
No repercussions whatsoever. I'm not sure. I mean, Gernot Rohr, the head coach, is aware of what's happening on social media. I think right now for Gernot Rohr, the concentration is on the game against Iceland. Well, John Ogu has not been a regular for the Super Eagles. Maybe that's the reason he's really had so much time to go on social media. He didn't start the game against Croatia. He didn't even play the game at all. And so perhaps that must have given him so much time to go on social media to make some rants. Chidebere, I've got with me on the program this morning the immediate past chairman of the Sports Writers Association, Lagos chapter, Fred Adori. I'm sure you know him very well.
Yeah, very well.
Can you recognize this face, Chidi?
Yeah, definitely. He's looking a bit different, but it's okay. Hi, Fred. Okay, let's talk to Fred a bit. Hi, Fred.
Chidebere is talking to you.
Yeah, good morning, Chidebere. How is Lagos today?
Fantastic. Lagos is fantastic.
Okay.
Now, from the perspective, of you know, of a journalist out there, what's the thoughts of Nigerian journalists for the game against Iceland on Friday?
Okay, Chidebere, Fred cannot hear you because you're talking to me directly.
Oh, okay.
But okay, let me serve as a translator here. Fred, she's asking that from a journalistic point of view, what are your thoughts about the game against Iceland on Friday?
Well, everybody knows that we are condemned to win. Iceland has had a good time playing draw with Argentina. They are coming with a lot of confidence. They really have nothing to lose. Some people have said that picking a draw against Argentina is like a win for them. But they are also looking at their chances in the sun. This is a team that people seem to be underrating. Iceland, for instance, defeated England to qualify for the quarterfinals of Euro 2016. They drew Portugal in that competition. They played France in that quarterfinals, and even though France defeated them, France was the host, but they scored 2 goals in that competition. So it's been a team that has been coming from some distance, and people didn't notice them. So I do not see Iceland as a minnows. I do not see them as underdogs. And they have a lot of confidence now coming to play against Nigeria. First, they got a draw with Argentina. They know that their chances against Croatia is going to be slim, so they want to take the opportunity against Nigeria, and they are thinking that they can win. At least Coach Halgrisim said so, that they will get a win in this group, and they are targeting Nigeria. For us, like we say, like Maradona said to Coach Sampaoli, if you draw or lose again, then find another country, don't come back to Argentina. And it's like that for us. We're not going to say that to the Super Eagles, but they are going to Volgograd. Volgograd is a city that has a reputation for fighting for motherland. It's a city that gives a war cry. You must fight or die for motherland. And we are saying to the Super Eagles, please fight and die for motherland, because if you don't defeat Iceland, if you falter in that game, you will have destroyed the reputation of the whole Nigerians. Our men, our women cannot walk on the streets in the international community with their heads high. It is as bad as that.
Fred, okay, a lot of talks about the formation Gernot Rohr has been deploying here at the World Cup. We saw him deploy a 4-2-3-1 formation, which really didn't work. We've seen him also deploy the 3-5-2 formation, which paid off during the friendly games. Do you think Gernot Rohr would be thinking towards tweaking the team, perhaps infusing other players in the game against Iceland, knowing very well that he's condemned to win?
Of course he has to. I mean, most importantly, we are seeing Igalo up from there, and it's not been effective. Some people have argued that he's not getting the right supplies. We've seen some players played out of wing, out of role, and that is giving us problems. I mean, play people where they are comfortable to play, where they are used to, so that the understanding can be clear. We saw a situation, an experiment, not really an experiment, but somebody like Mikel has been used to playing the defensive midfield or holding midfield, and then we push him up front. And when we push him up front, he's not very fast, he's not very energetic, he's very intelligent, all right, but he doesn't have the strength to drag things up front. And then when you move him up front, behind him, there is no creativity anymore. So you really just have to get your strategy right now. But this is not just about strategy. Sometimes yes, strategy. But look at the Icelanders. They played against Argentina. They didn't care about what you think about their game, whether it was fanciful, whether it was negative football. All they knew is that they didn't want Argentina to defeat them. They packed 9 men in front of the goal. Messi can do anything, but you are not going to score. You know. And we just have to go get that game. It's a bullfight right now. You know, it's not a fancy thing. Perhaps we can go back to our traditional 4-4-2 system, where we at least have 2 strikers, and then we have the midfield a little choked, and then we have good defense so that we don't consider anything. But play what we are comfortable with. Let the players play in the role that they are used to, that they are comfortable with, and so that there can be no excuses. It's a bullfight right now. We're going to crash and break the wall because we must come out with something. We cannot afford to come back from Russia with nothing. Remember, we still have a game after Iceland. We have a game against Argentina. Argentina is also feeling beaten, and they are going to come.
You're like wounded lions.
They are going to come at us like wounded lions here in St. Petersburg on the last day, and you really cannot say what's going to happen because they are as wounded as we are. And I guess that is like you say in film, that is like last fight between Batman and actor.
Fredo, yeah. Thank you for your time. Well, Chidebere, like you heard, Fred say, it's a make or mass situation. Fred, before I let you go, what would be the implication if the Super Eagles gets to pull a draw against Iceland?
Well, we pull a draw against Iceland. It makes it all the more difficult for us. We can only say, well, Iceland didn't defeat us, but then you pull a draw.
Because the coach said with 4 points we can still qualify.
If you got to get
He's
4
already
points,
calculating.
if you want to get 4 points in a game that you have just 2 countries, Iceland, Argentina, I guess that your best bet is to get the first 3 points from Iceland. I mean, there's no kidding about that. You cannot get 1 point against Iceland and then hoping to get the 3 points in the last game. First get the 3 points in the middle game, then you can be fighting for the 1 point or so in the last game. I mean, you cannot be the other way around. It just has to be first get these 3 points from Iceland. It is the if you like, the simpler, the more comfortable team to do that with than to go against an Argentina with Messi, an Argentina that is angry, an Argentina that has told their coach not to come back home if you don't win.
Well, Chidebere, for today, there is a game in our hands which is really creating, a lot of buzz here in St. Petersburg, and that's the game between host Russia and, of course, Egypt. Egypt lost their first game to Uruguay, and they must win today for redemption. They must win today to get themselves back into reckoning. They must win today to put some faith in their fans again. And so for the Russians, they won their first game 5-0. Looking at putting some icing on that cake. And so we are set for an epic game later tonight here in St. Petersburg.
With the fact that Mohamed Salah will be playing today, maybe we will see an exciting game from an African team. I promise yesterday we finally saw a goal from an African team. Tunisia, of course, Sassi scoring from a penalty, but another late goal considered by an African team. Do you think this is becoming a tradition with us? The lack of concentration, especially when the time, hit between 90 and 95 minutes.
We saw that happen with Morocco in the earlier stages. Well, some loss of concentration, like you say, but I think we can take some positives from the performance of the Tunisians. They gave England a very good run for their money. I guess they were just unlucky to have conceded that last-minute goal to lose that game 2-1. However, like I did say, there is a second chance for the African teams. First round of matches played, they will be seeking a way to bounce back and get back. I personally think we would have 2 or 3 African teams in the round of 16. I'm not a prophet, but going by their performances, I guess the African teams have been unlucky thus far, but I think based on performances, based on quality, I see 2-3 African teams in the next round.
Promise, before we let you go, Senegal will be playing today. Maybe a win for an African nation. Of course, all the hope of that particular team riding on the shoulders of one man, Sadio Mane, in that particular game.
Senegal has a lot of quality players, I must tell you. Sadio Mane might just be the apex of them, but against a very strong opposition like they have today, it's going to be a tough call. But I think they've got enough quality to pull a good result into this game, knowing very well that all African teams have thus far, faltered. That might just be an inspiration for Senegal to go all out and pick some good points tonight.
All right, thank you very much, Promise, for all the updates. Hope you have a fantastic time, especially watching that game between Egypt and Russia. I hope to have you later in the day for more updates. Thank you so much from Russia.